What is up, you awesome kisters? This is CistReactZ, guys. Today we are reacting to Poppy Playtime Chapter 4, The Story Explained by Super Horror Bro. So make sure you guys subscribe to Super Horror Bro, hit that like button, and comment down below, and let's check this out.
Hey guys, Super Horror Bro Mike here, and in today's video, we journey deeper
Because we love Super Horror Bro
into
around here.
Playtime Co-Factory, as we take a look at the story of Poppy Playtime Chapter 4.
Was anybody else's yarn to be glitched too? Mine was glitched. I didn't get to see him much or at all.
Poppy Playtime franchise, as well as explaining some of the mysteries contained within by taking a look at various notes and audio logs. However, theory talk will be reserved for future videos. The purpose of this story explained is to summarize the story on a surface level, condensing the events of this sprawling chapter into one easily digestible video.
Because I'm pretty sure there's stuff I missed, so let's see what happened.
And let's explore the story of Poppy Playtime Chapter 4.
I can't believe they showed off so much like death and bodies though. That was crazy.
The chapter begins as we continue our descent with Poppy into the depths of a Playtime Co-Factory, leading on directly from the cliffhanger ending of Poppy Playtime Chapter 3, where Kissy
got stuck
on the floor above, attacked by an unknown assailant. Poppy explains that she must embark on a rescue mission to save Kissy, but tells our protagonist to continue with their mission to try and stop the prototype.
You know, I wonder if we'll actually get like a DLC playing as Poppy. It would be very interesting to have like a first person, your small, no grab pack, just all stealth DLC as her, because she can't do the puzzles that you can with a grab pack because of her height. So maybe she'll be like chased in the prototype in some standalone DLC. That's definitely gonna happen.
She warns us that this
like, what is her and Kissy doing when we don't see her?
Anything we've encountered before.
Be careful down here.
They're definitely gonna find ways to expand Poppy after Chapter 5's done for.
Anything you've seen above. It's not trying to hide what it is.
Why are her eyes so red?
It's hell. And Playtime wanted it to be.
Poppy instructs us to follow the red smoke pipes as they will guide us to our intended destination. She also explains that she has allies down here that can aid our character in their quest, and so our hero sets off alone as Poppy returns to the upper levels to save her friend. Following the pipes, our protagonist makes her way through a nearby cave system, where they discover a note documenting the flammable properties of the red
read
smoke.
that. I remember that.
The gas will explode if it comes into contact with a naked flame.
Yeah.
And this seems to be exactly why Poppy has rerouted the red smoke in the previous chapter. We eventually emerge from the caves into a horrifying toy graveyard, where the bodies of smiling critters are stacked in gruesome heaps as far as the eye can see.
Very horrifying.
This appears to be where Playtime Co. dumped the bodies of failed and deceased experiments after they no longer served a purpose for the company's twisted research. At the far side of this area is the entrance to the prison. However, before our hapless hero can enter, blinding spotlights halt their progress,
like a Valorant
and the
flashbang
doors
hit
seal
'em.
shut. They are then attacked by hordes of ravenous huggy toys.
Bro, they're really good at making scary
gun.
designs, because those things are horrifying as hell.
Into the shadows,
seriously.
Our protagonist must locate an alternate
Look like tiny
path
little
inside.
spiders running at you, man. It's crazy. Part 2 of the prison.
As we continue to explore,
it's crazy how you don't even have to pay for the chapter if you just wait for Super Horror Bros' video.
One of the orphan children at Playtime, a 12-year-old named Riley. Riley
I remember
lost
hearing
her
about
parents
Riley
in a tragic accident, and then became part of Playtime's Orphan Adoptive Initiative, a shady cover-up which allowed a company to conduct horrific experiments on the orphan kids, under the guise of an adoption program. We learned that this was indeed Riley's
Imagine
fate.
if William Afton
She
did the
was
same
deemed
thing,
a
bro.
suitable
That should have been
candidate for
crazy.
testing, and eventually ended up in the body of a living toy. These notes explain the morbid process of transferring a human into a toy body, and how the procedure was both physically
I don't think I
and
read those.
mentally damaging. We later find the remains of what
Cry?
we assume to be Riley, guarding a key
That
to the
was
prison
her?
train, which she hid in an attempt to stop her fellow orphans from meeting the same fate that she did. The prison is where many
Hell
orphans
no.
were held captive until they could undergo surgical procedures to turn them into living toys. It is also a location where many of the bigger body experiments were locked up for observation and testing. After cutting through the
They
cave
went
system
dark
once
mode.
more, we come across a train station leading directly into the prison. At this moment, we get a call from our mysterious friend Ollie, who warns us of the dangers
A mysterious
ahead.
child who's been aiding us on our mission.
It's
More
me
like the
again,
invisible
Ollie.
child.
Everything you've seen out here, the piles, the dead, they all came from inside. Believe me, everything Poppy said about this place is true. It's hell.
And the fact
While
Ollie wasn't even
exploring the
on,
station, we stumble across a VHS
and he heard
tape,
Poppy
which
saying that is
records a
crazy. He's just
conversation held
listening.
between two prison security officers. From listening to this conversation, we get a sense of just how cruel and twisted Playtime Co. was in regards to the treatment of the orphans and living toys they became. Take a listen.
No, we getting the East? Toys banging on the walls, crying for their parents, their counselors, whatever. It goes all day and night, and it just wears on you, you know?
wears
And
on
what
you.
we get in the North? Things. Whatever they aren't people anymore. Their cells might as well be cages.
Damn.
They are animals. Sick. Twisted. Just instincts and anger. That's all.
And the guards really just watched all of them for
Our
a payment.
protagonist
That's
powers up the train
insane.
and steps inside one
Nobody
of the
tried to
holding
help.
cells
That's
tethered
wild.
to it. The door slams shut behind them, and they find themselves trapped inside. Then, a TV screen lights up, and a sinister voice can be heard.
Sawyer.
What's this? Do I feel something squirming its way beneath my skin? An invasive
Did bro just shake his head?
Well, little germ, let's make a game of you.
This is the voice of the Doctor, a mysterious overseer who seems to control everything down here. We are now trapped in his domain, and completely at his mercy, as he begins testing us just like the orphans that came before.
I never understood this part. Like, I don't know if he was meant to shut the doors or just throw flares at them.
So, who is the Doctor? Long before the tragic events of the Hour of Joy, Playtime Co. had hired a brilliant scientific mind, a man named Harley Sawyer, who is known as the Doctor. As
I remember
brilliant
this in
and
Game
gifted
Theory's
as Harley
video.
he was equally ruthless and cruel, a truly evil man who sought to further scientific research ahead of valuing human life. Harley was responsible for the majority of the human experimentation that took place within the depths of the factory. In collaboration with Head of Innovation Leif Pierre, Head of Research Eddie Ritterman, and Head of Playcare Stella Graber,
I remember
Harley
Stella from the
oversaw
notes.
creation of the Bigger Body Initiative, taking employees and orphan children and using them as part of a horrific
Nah, using your
surgical
employees
procedure
is crazy
to
too.
create living toys. However, from a tape we discover within Chapter 4, we learn that Harley Sawyer was a bit of a wild card and had been responsible for a number of blunders involving escaped killer mascots. That resulted in the deaths of many employees and tourists.
Oh, didn't they
visiting
post this
the
before on
factory.
YouTube?
Sawyer can't keep leading this project.
The
I'm
VHS?
not disagreeing. Huggy loose in the woods, that business with Catnap, the whole story.
Can you imagine Huggy Wuggy being in the damn woods? Like, they can also expand Poppy Playtime like that too. Like, being one of the victims that the toys killed. Like, I don't know, some POV stories of like you just walking in the woods or just camping, then you hear Huggy just stalking you, or Catnap is like watching you from the woods and shit. Nah.
Whole thing and half a dozen in the woods, that business with Catnap, the whole stole thing and half a dozen other incidents. Right. And all
Or they
of
could put that in
pales
like Project
comparison
Playtime
to the theater
somehow.
incident. So, we can't kill the son of a bitch, but we need to knock him out of the equation. What do we do? There is one thing I can think of.
And that's
Leif
putting
and
his
his
brain in the
cohorts
computer.
were to
But like, how do they do that?
They needed Harley's knowledge and expertise to continue their research and the creation of these living toys, but realized he was too much of a liability to keep around. And so they came up with a solution, to use Harley's own science against him and trap him inside a computer system where, in theory, he could do no further harm. Harley was put through a surgical procedure that divvied up his organs into various life support systems,
That's
all
crazy.
into a Matrix databank. He now exists as a ghost in the machine. A new doctor named
Wild.
Dr. White then taking over his position as surgeon. This next tape chronicles Sawyer's awakening and realization of his unfortunate fate.
It looks like he's waking up.
Oh, they had tapes showing him waking up?
Oh, no. They didn't. Those backstabbing traitors.
From now on, you're here to give the lab boys answers when they need them, and carry out procedures when and how we tell you to. That's it.
You'll die for this, Leaf. When I get my hands on you, you're a dead man!
Harley was furious and
Damn!
felt betrayed. He vowed revenge on
I didn't even
everyone
hear
who'd
that
wronged
tape.
him and formed an alliance with a mysterious entity
Oh,
known
that's
as
why
the
they
Prototype.
cool.
Together, the two plotted to put into play a plan, one which would allow the bigger bodies to overthrow their creators and run amok throughout the facility. This now known as the Hour of Joy, where almost all the Playtime staff were brutally killed.
Damn.
We get a rough idea of how this plan was executed by listening to a VHS tape documenting a conversation between the prison warden and the doctor. The Prototype had escaped containment and was attacking prison security. The warden was the only staff member with security clearance to unlock the exits, but knew that he would never be able to make it to the surface in one piece. So the doctor manipulated the warden into handing over his access, by promising that, if he did, his survival would be guaranteed.
Damn.
What? The Omni Hand. If you give it to me, I can get you anywhere. I'll have control over everything.
I thought I heard like the alarm going off in the background of the tape. That shit's eerie.
I can shut some doors, open others. I can make you
Open
a pathway
others.
that leads right to the exit. I don't.
Oh yeah, you can't hear the fucking alarm. That's
If
creepy.
you want to wait to get torn to pieces, that's your prerogative. But we'll get you immediate options, Warden. What choice other than this gets you out of here alive?
After the doctor gained access to the prison security systems, he was then able to release all of the other mascots from containment.
Oh, I thought the warden
and
was the one that
grant
got
them a
killed by
path
Miss
to the
Delight.
factory floor above. And so the Hour of Joy and massacre of thousands of Playtime workers ensued.
Fuck. Like they weren't given flamethrowers or
Back to the
something?
current
Like
day,
that's
and our
crazy.
protagonist reaches the prison. They escape the holding cell and begin to explore this hellish locale. Here we encounter a new form of smiling critter, known as the Nightmare Critters.
Yeah, just
who
shut the door.
patrol the prison halls. The Doctor even uses them to test our protagonist's survival skills as a horde of these critters attack, while we are trapped in a small containment area. Also within this area, we come across the Red Hand attachment. The Red Hand, of course, contains that all-important flashlight upgrade, which comes in handy, as the prison is dark and oppressive to say the least. Following the red smoke pipes, as instructed by Poppy, while also navigating a slew of death traps laid out by the Doctor, eventually leads our hero to become trapped once more in an observation room. Here we are introduced to another of Harley's ill-fated bigger body experiments, a caterpillar-like creature known as Yarnaby.
More like a fucking lion.
Our hand
That thing's a lion.
a little different. Oh, Yarnaby.
Like, how do you make a toy with real claws, man?
Please, do keep making this enjoyable for me. I'll be taking notes.
Ugh.
I will go into more detail about the backstory of Yarnaby and other new monsters found within this chapter in an upcoming Monsters Explained video, so stay tuned for that. For now, our task is simple. We must use
I don't know why my
stealth and
eyes just
cunning
tweaked
to
out
avoid
right there. Oh my
Yarnaby
God.
as the fluffy but deadly monstrosity stalks us through the back rooms of this prison. However, it seems a mysterious benefactor is here to lend a decidedly stretchy
Motherfucking
helping
Doughy.
hand, unlocking doors and triggering distractions around the environment to throw Yarnaby
Where did
off
he
our
get
scent
that?
and help us navigate to freedom. After a brief chase, we manage to escape Yarnaby's clutches, at least for now. In the next room, we
God.
come across a VHS tape, which reveals a little more about the head of Playcare, Stella Graber, and why this seemingly pleasant woman became involved in playing a part in the bigger body initiative.
You know, the project lead, Dr. Sawyer, wasn't sure about giving you that information in the first place. He thinks your affection towards those kids could be a liability. What do you think about that?
I took this job because I wanted to help change kids' lives for the better.
Yeah, by stuffing them in
Of
huge
course, these
toys.
procedures are far from ideal. I cried like a baby when I read them. But I started looking past the here and now. Started looking down the road a bit. And that's when it clicked. What your researchers can do down here will someday help a lot of people out there. Including so many kids.
But see, what I don't understand is that, like, okay, you'll sit there and merge human consciousness or human body in toy bodies. You'll merge both of them together. What then? The toy can talk. It can communicate, right? Like, I don't know. I guess they're trying to develop, like, a kind toy, like how the characters actually are. But it's weird, because, like, ain't the human still in there? Can't it, like, break past the conscious? Or the... Can it, I don't know, can it, like, break past the whole toy personality and bring itself back and try to call out for help? Then you got a bunch of toys at home calling out for help. Then they're scared. Then they realize they're strong as hell and start killing everybody in the house. And then my question is, if you're stuffing, right, a human body inside of a tall Huggy Wuggy model, why the fuck does the Huggy Wuggy model have drool? And why does it have 14,000 sharp teeth in its mouth? Like, how did that happen? Like, my understanding is they make the toy exactly how it is when they come in the damn box, but a little bit bigger. And then, you know, they do the horrific experiments and put people inside the toys. How does that relate to Resident Evil looking teeth and fleshiness? How does that happen?
Between Stella and Leif, we discover that Stella was led to believe the experiments, while cruel in nature, could ultimately lead to helping millions in the future. It seems her good
How would
but
any of this
naive
help?
nature was manipulated by people like Leif, who sold
Those
her
are
on a
chains.
false dream.
Doughy the Dough Man.
Heading further into the prison, our protagonist falls down whilst attempting to inch their way across a narrow ledge, and finds himself stranded in a holding cell at the mercy of another of the doctor's failed experiments, the reptilian Pianosaurus. But just as it seems their journey has come to its end, a mass of stretchy limbs spring from the darkness and
Pianosaurus looks
destroy
like the
Pianosaur
toy on the
before our
cutout.
very eyes.
Why doesn't everybody else look like the toy on the cutout? Actually, Doughy looks like the cutout, and Mommy Longlegs looks like the cutout too. But Mommy Longlegs can change her appearance, like Doughy. How? How does that work? Why do they get so grotesque, so creepy looking? What else are they experimenting with?
I won't eat you.
It's like the experiments are half right, but then the toys start to tweak out and turn into flesh monsters with sharp teeth.
This is Doughy the Dough Man. While he is certainly capable of violence, Doughy is mostly docile,
A lot.
and we learn he is in fact working with both Poppy and Ollie to try and put a stop to the prototype's diabolical reign. But who is Doughy? Well, at the beginning of a chapter we witness an advertisement for this Doughy character, who seems to be some sort of putty-based toy, fully malleable and able to bend and stretch into many different shapes. Following on from this commercial is home video footage of a boy named Jackie, who receives an action figure of Doughy as a Christmas present from his parents, along with a ticket for a tour of the Playtime factory itself. Unfortunately, this tour ended in tragedy. While exploring the dough mixing room, Jackie falls from a catwalk and lands in one of the mixing tanks, where he becomes infused with the very dough itself. Later on in the chapter,
Somehow.
we learn that after this accident, Playtime managed to resurrect Jackie as the living version of Dowie we team up with during this chapter. Jackie's parents receive a secret invitation back to the factory.
I still think they never should have went after seeing that letter. That letter is creepy.
The mother is delighted to reunite
We
with
can
her
give
son,
you your son
even in
back.
this monstrous new form, but the
Like,
father
what?
is a little more concerned. And his concern is well-founded, as Jackie, now in his Dowie reincarnation, ends up killing both his parents in a fit of rage.
Hey, you'll be okay, I promise.
This tape was messed up.
Mommy's only here to talk.
No.
I'm gonna skip through it because I know what happened in the tape. He kills both of his parents. I'm informed with
Made
that
up from
one.
But why would he have done this? Well, you see, Dowie isn't just made up from one child, but rather 3 separate children infused together, and each of these
I
children
can't believe the
have their
arms were
own
right in front of me,
personality
too.
and temperament. This information is garnered from a note and VHS tape found later into the chapter, which detail the other 2 children used to bring Dowie to life alongside Jackie. The first of these other 2 children was a boy named Matthew Hallard, who was both charming and charismatic. At 15 years, he was older than most of the other orphans, and so took it upon himself to look after them. However, he felt great remorse for the loss of his parents, who he'd lost in an accident he was unable to prevent. The second boy of the trio was a problem child by the name of Kevin Barnes.
The evil one.
The neural abnormalities noted in Dr. Newman's report are detailed in connection
I think I've seen this tape too.
behavioral issues demonstrated within play care. Friends he
Most likely the reason.
intense play.
So Kevin's persona was most likely the reason why Dowie lashed out and killed Jackie's parents. Dowie inherited the kind nature of Matthew, the excitable personality of Jackie, but also the violent and combative qualities of Kevin, and all 3 of these personas now fight with each other within Dowie's mind.
That's gotta be
This makes him
insane.
friendly,
I can't
yet
imagine what's going through his
unpredictable,
brain.
and confused about how to handle his emotions at any given time. A complex character, to be sure.
Part 6, the safe haven. This is crazy.
We join Dowie as he guides us deeper into the prison towards a location he refers to
Oh, you
as
can
Safe
see him
Haven.
go through it?
Due to Dowie's doe-like genetic makeup, he is able to slip through holes in walls and squeeze through prison bars with ease. On the
Ew.
way to Safe Haven, we are reunited with Poppy and a seriously injured Kissy, who barely survived her attacker, but thankfully remain alive.
Through the showers. We should be able to make it into
That's
the
crazy how
city
you almost just got
from
snuck up on by the prototype.
We catch our first glimpse of the prototype, who seems to be a spidery mech-like creature, stalking Poppy and Kissy through the halls. It also appears that the prototype was in fact the entity who attacked Kissy during the finale of Chapter 3, and now has followed the duo into the depths of the prison. The 3 survivors finally reach Dowie's safe haven, where he is none too pleased to find they have led the prototype right to his door.
What's going on? What's... Kissy? Goodness. What happened?
We need to get her help. Now!
Poppy. Is that really... Right. Take her to one of the beds. I'll check the defenses. See if something's still outside.
Not just something. It's him. He's out there.
You
She's
brought
over-
him down?
She's over here yelling and the doors are like wide open, bro.
We'll talk about this later. For now, I'll make sure out there is where he stays.
Locking down Safe Haven.
I never even realized he
Kissy
just
lays
left the
down
doors
to rest,
cracked.
while
Like,
Poppy
all that
finally
sound carrying
explains her
out there.
master plan.
The orphans weren't killed during the hour of Joey. They were taken. They're below, in the labs. The prototype's home. They are alive, but sleeping. If we're going to free them and stop the prototype, we need to plan for both. The plan is this. We'll fill the foundation with smoke and line it with old mining charges. Then once you, me, and Kissy have freed the orphans, our friends here will blow this place sky high. That's our revenge.
Poppy plans to use the red smoke to blow the entire facility sky high, eliminating all trace of the cruel research and experimentation conducted by Playtime Co., as well as putting an end to the prototype once and for all. She also informs us that many of the orphan children are still alive and currently under the prototype's care. Therefore, they must be
Like, how did they
freed and
even
led to
live?
safety before the explosion is set off. She then instructs us to speak with Dowie so he can explain the next step to put this plan into action. Dowie leads us into the auxiliary power room, where he airs his concerns with Poppy's plan for revenge.
But I ask you to consider, if we throw everything away, everyone, just to kill the prototype, how much do we waste? I know the others might believe it's right, that we should bury everything, but let's just...
I like how he holds his hat.
Dowie values the lives of the toys
Really
under
getting
his
into
care
character.
within the safe haven, and doesn't wish to see harm come to them, despite them having no possible way of life on the surface world. In order to redirect the red smoke into the prototype's lair, we must use a backup generator located within this very power room. The catch is that to use the generator, we must first access it with a grab pack hand known as the Omni Hand, and unfortunately, said hand is within the possession of the Doctor.
I need you to stop the Doctor, to take his Omni Hand. We'll need it for the generator, and if you want red smoke in the Foundation, you'll need it too.
Damn.
While exploring the safe haven before setting off to our next objective, we notice something very interesting indeed. You see there is a connection with the toys down here and Poppy. It seems she once lived down here with them and was a leader of sorts,
Poppy,
but at
come
some
back.
point was captured by the prototype and locked away in the case upstairs, where we first discovered her all the way back in Chapter 1. Unaware of her fate, the toys believed Poppy had abandoned them and that she is no longer to be trusted.
What's Poppy doing here? I don't know. They just let her in.
The voice box effect is
That's
so
in a
creepy.
whole lot of trouble we don't need. I mean, how do we even know we can trust her this time? We don't know. So let's just be careful.
We also discover one of the more intriguing VHS tapes of the chapter, simply labelled Ollie. This tape contains a conversation between Ollie and Poppy, where we hear Poppy in a distressed state as Ollie tries to calm her.
I'm nothing now, Ollie. No one. I'm a thing,
God.
and nothing they can do to me hurts more than that. You're not nothing to me. You're Poppy. And talking with you like this, I know it doesn't make any of what they do right, but it makes me feel like a piece of me is still here. No matter how small they try to make it. I'm here, Poppy. For you, I'll always be here.
That's crazy.
It seems as though Ollie was a true friend to Poppy, someone who she trusted while at her most vulnerable.
All that for that huge betrayal, man.
And so our protagonist bids farewell to the safety of the haven and makes their way into the sewer system. Here they overhear a conversation between Dowie and Poppy, who are at odds with one another in regard to the execution of her master plan.
It's the best for everyone, Dowie. That no trace of this place is left. We agree to that.
We've starved down here. We've been hunted. And now you're asking us to burn everything? All of us? We've made our life protecting these toys. And they've saved us in more ways than one.
I wish there were another way, Dowie. But I just don't see it.
Damn.
After navigating the
Everybody
sewer system,
having to
we
go and
emerge in a
shit.
mine shaft. As they explore the mines,
I wonder if they will explore like a good ending or a bad ending. Like you blow up the facility and leave the prototype in there, or like you blow up the facility with everybody in it. Cause yeah, I do kind of feel like it's not fair for everybody who had their life taken away to just die down there. It's fucked up.
our hero is once again ambushed.
Plus, let's
by
be
the
honest, there's gonna be a
relentless
Poppy
Yarnaby,
playtime
who
too,
begins
so
stalking them
the
through
prototype's gonna
eerie
come back.
tunnels and maintenance areas while they desperately try to restore power to the exit. After avoiding Yarnaby's detection and rerouting the power to the exit, our protagonist continues on, but just as they begin to leave, Yarnaby picks up their scent and gives chase. The protagonist uses a chain to swing across a fire pit as an eager
Why are you
Yarnaby
stopping
follows in
there?
hot pursuit,
That thing is creepy.
inadvertently snaring itself on the chain in the process and catching on fire. Yarnaby then falling to its death in a blaze of glory.
I hope it's dead. I hope
then
it's dead.
reunite with Doey, who helps unlock a door leading into the Doctor's lair. As Doey opens the door, he accidentally triggers a trap set by the Doctor, who
Damn.
expels a freezing compound from a nearby pipe. Ice-cold temperatures are Doey's kryptonite, as they cause him to freeze into a solid, immobile form. Luckily, our protagonist is at hand to shut off the compound, thawing out Doey in the process.
Bro thought out fast.
Doey stays behind to recover, and so we continue alone. Soon discovering one of the dig sites set up by construction company Warrenbach, the Doctor's hideout is located directly above. As we explore this area, the Doctor begins taunting our hero and asking some intriguing questions about why they have chosen to return to the factory. Questions for now that must remain unanswered.
I hope I almost said the prototype. I hope the protagonist gets like a voice in chapter 5. Like, honestly, it's a better late than never situation. Because, like, I need to hear the main character's thoughts. Like, you don't hear any screams, you don't hear any nothing while he's being chased. Like, he's just used to all this.
Had someone of such rare quality and never noticed. Funny.
Damn.
I can't say I remember seeing your face before, but I'm curious. Why come back? It can't be that a vague letter was your only reason. Was there someone you loved here? Someone you'd lost?
He also begins casting doubt about Poppy's good intentions, revealing that she knew about the plan for the Hour of Joy before the catastrophe even went down, and was working with the prototype.
Poppy told you her story, of course. Innocence is bliss. And she is so innocent. Did she tell you her part of the Hour of Joy? That she knew it was coming? Or did she leave out that crucial detail?
While attempting to survive the many traps laid out by the Doctor, we begin the process of shutting down his various life support systems by freezing Harley's organs one by one. Each of these life support systems is contained within various operating theatres the Doctor once worked out of while conducting his ghastly human experimentation. Before the Doctor grants access to his lair, he poses our protagonist a moral dilemma. A nightmare critter is trapped alive in a glass jar hooked up to the freezing
I low-key
agent.
should have killed that critter.
If we wish to confront the Doctor, we must take the life of this poor defenseless little critter. The Doctor argues that experiments like Doey and Poppy wouldn't hesitate to do this, as violence is simply in their nature. But what about us?
I wonder if you're actually allowed to kill it, because I just took the way out.
Or is maintaining the veil of your morality more important? Act quickly.
Of course, the choice is a simple one. We must take the critter's life in order to complete Poppy's mission and save the orphans. With the test complete, the Doctor grants access to his Dominion, and so we head up the elevator to complete life in order to complete Poppy's mission and save the orphans. With the test complete, the Doctor...
I didn't know the Doctor also said, so you do understand, but I don't think Super Horror Bro knew that there was actually like a thing on the ceiling. You could just grab it and then leave out of the room without killing him. And then the Doctor gets sour about it.
Doctor grants access to his Dominion.
And he says, like,
so
the
we
Doctor
head up
will
the
see you now.
elevator
That's
for the
crazy.
final confrontation.
I didn't kill him.
After ascending the elevator shaft, we finally reach the Doctor's location and witness a giant electrical machine in which his main consciousness is contained. But life is never that simple. And there is one more trap the Doctor
The
has in
sassy
store.
wave.
We are plunged into a dark pit by one of the many robots that Harley has taken control of, and find ourselves confined to the server room below. Here we must power up the exit gate by locating 4 fuses and plugging them into computer terminals in the central hub. All the while we are hunted by the Doctor's robot army. After surviving this ultimate gauntlet, our hero returns to the upper levels and finally shuts down the Doctor's life support system, vanquishing him.
I'm surprised he let him do it. I love how the robots are running in place too. They should honestly redo that part, like let the robots chase you around the room so it's not goofy that they're running in place.
With the access card obtained, our protagonist is now able to acquire the Omni Hand needed to reroute the red smoke and put the final stage of Poppy's plan into action, and so they head back to the safe haven to complete their mission. Upon their return, they are greeted by an excitable Poppy, who can't believe the mission was a success. She asks the protagonist to follow her to the power room, so they can begin preparations to divert the red smoke using the Omni Hand. While speaking with Poppy and Dowie, the trio receive a
craziest part of the game,
Ollie, who explains the prototype is heading straight for them.
He's outside! Ollie! He's outside!
That acting is wild.
Dowie. Please, keep him away from here.
Without the generator.
I know, but he can't get in here. Not now. Just buy us some time. Ollie, if you can hear me, work with our friend here. Aye, aye, Captain.
Dowie heads outside to try and distract the prototype, while Ollie guides the player through the 3 steps necessary to repair the generator. But we must act quickly, as while taking it offline to conduct these repairs, the safe haven's defenses will be shut down, leaving the place vulnerable to attack. With Ollie's guidance, the generator is soon repaired. However, Dowie is nowhere to be seen. Poppy instructs us to head to a location known as the Foundation, where we can plant the explosives and blow up the red smoke.
Head for the Foundation.
God.
Plant the
About to make her eyes even more red. I know that had to have been painful too.
We'll go over what comes.
Flashlight.
Our route to the Foundation leads the protagonist back through the mines and into a previously inaccessible area. Here they must avoid hordes of nightmare critters as they navigate the maze-like mine tunnels in search of 4 sets of dynamite. Each of these explosives must be carefully secured to 4 weak points throughout a filtration room where the aforementioned red smoke is being pumped. Upon redirecting the red smoke and planting all 4 sets of explosives, we are ambushed once again by those pesky critters and forced to flee the scene, taking a nearby elevator back to the mine entrance.
Hell no.
Here we bump into Dowie, who survived his encounter with the prototype and successfully led him away. At that moment, an explosion goes off at the safe haven, and Dowie rushes off to investigate. Upon reaching the hideout, we find it in a state of ruin. The prototype managed to gain access to the safe haven and
isn't there
used an
one of them
explosive
Family Guy
charge that
ragdolling
went
in
by
there?
Sky high. Dowie's
I heard that
friend
on
is now
Twitter.
lying dead beneath the rubble. In this moment, he sees red, and the violent persona of Kevin takes hold.
He killed my friend! It all started with you.
I'm surprised the character just didn't run.
It was you!
I would have took off.
Everything! No, that's not true.
And then he starts walking towards him, like...
The generator. They destroyed everything! I'll kill you!
Dowie snaps and smashes the ground in a fit of rage. This causes a cave-in and he is crushed by a landslide. However, he survives, but is overcome by rage and takes on a new monstrous form. Dowie can no longer control his emotions. Stricken by grief,
fuck that.
guilt and anger, he begins furiously chasing our hapless hero as they race to safety through the winding caverns that surround the once safe haven. During this chase sequence, we can acquire a very secret tape, but we'll take a listen to that a little later. After a narrow escape from Dowie, we emerge at the dig site below the Doctor's lair. Monster Doughy catches up to the protagonist, and with no place left to run, they are forced to fight. As Doughy pursues us, we hear the conflicted personas of the 3 children trapped inside him, crying out in pain and anger.
That's probably one of the craziest, like, monsters they designed, honestly. Like, the symbolism all in the monster. I don't know how you survived those hands. All they did was just kill me and block me from where I was going. They must have patched them, because it doesn't look like Super Horror Bros dying fast like me.
To defeat Doughy, we must grab canisters of freezing agent and place them in his path. These canisters then become stuck to Doughy's gloopy body as he passes over them. He must then be led beneath one of several saw blades located around the dig site, and the canister detonated using the flare gun. This freezes the monster in place, and then it's time to cut him down to size. Doing so enough times allows us to defeat Doughy, at least for now. You see, only moments after leaving this area, Doughy manages to reassemble once more, and grabs our hero as
I don't
they
know
make
how.
their
He looked like he was
getaway.
gone.
Unfortunately for
Melted.
Doughy, he captures us in a crushing room, and so by freezing him here one last time, we are able to finally terminate the ill-fated experiment.
I feel like...
Trust anyone! The gentle voices
I don't know, I feel like the main character went easy on him with this drill.
I tried to be better.
Like he didn't turn it on full power or something. That's why Doughy's still alive.
Smart enough. Not good enough. Not...
Because then, like, the drill stopped. Or maybe because it got clumped up.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I didn't even notice the eyes
Shortly
turned
after this
black inside of the
confrontation,
mouth.
We
Oh,
discover an
God.
audio recording left behind by Doughy that sheds a little more light on how his splintered personality works. It seems he genuinely had good intentions, however exposure to increasingly dark and depressing events caused him to have trouble keeping his cool.
For the past few months,
I remember this tape as well near the end. Like, he was trying to keep a sense of self.
Check out this post-boss area. We find a red VHS player, where we can finally check out that secret tape collected as we fled from Doughy. The tape is an
This
audio
one I didn't
recording from
hear.
Poppy, where she explains that despite her hatred for the prototype, she knows he is right, and the living toys can never leave the factory.
Prototype says we can't leave. Not now, not ever. I hate him, and I hate this place, and I hate that he's right. He explained everything, and he's right. What they did to us, we can't ever let it happen to us or anyone ever again.
The tape also confirms one of my own theories, that Poppy is in fact the daughter of Playtime co-founder Elliot Ludwig.
Damn.
I wish you were here, Dad. I could really use one of your talks right about now. You'd know what to say. When you were running this place, you always knew what to say. I miss you.
That's crazy, son. That is actually crazy.
Continuing onward after these major plot revelations, our protagonist discovers a garbage chute, and with no other way forward, slides down into the unknown. At the bottom of this chute, they find Kissy and Poppy, who have sought refuge in the ventilation tunnels. Poppy desperately attempts to get in touch with Ollie, worried as to his fate after the explosion above. Poppy is furious that we killed Doughy, but before she has time to further elaborate, the phone rings and Ollie is on the line. However, he now sounds far more sinister.
Ollie, something's gone horribly wrong. The safe haven...
Shelf ventilation block B6. Is this where you are, Poppy?
That was creepy.
What?
Stay where you are.
And listen closely. You're not going to...
Kissy's reaction, bro.
Not going to fight. The charade is over.
Who is this?
An obvious...
I wonder if Kissy can talk.
An obvious answer.
You. What did you do with Ollie?
I'm right here, Poppy.
For you,
I'll always be
here.
We discover
It's almost
that
like
Ollie
Kissy knew
is
the
in
whole
fact a
time. That's why she had no
prototype,
reaction.
Or rather, one of the many voices it is able to mimic. It seems as though each victim of the prototype is amalgamated into its very fiber, and then becomes replicable to trick and lure in its victims.
The fuck?
Ollie was once an orphan boy who befriended Poppy, but fell victim into its mimic. It seems as though each victim of the prototype is amalgamated into its very fiber,
And I'm assuming that was shown because I think that was the shrine that Catnap had for him or something.
then becomes replicable to trick and lure in its victims. Ollie was
Damn,
once
there
an
could be some
orphan
human
boy who
bodies in there
befriended
then.
Poppy, but fell
Yuck.
victim to the prototype long ago.
Sorry,
and
almost
now it's
dropped my
simply
microphone.
used as a tool for his benefit. The prototype goes on to explain that Poppy is important to him and should return home.
What are you going to do with me?
I've got something special in mind.
I prepared it just for you.
And this one, you will never want to leave. I admit, though, I'm
So the prototype could really be Leith Pierre or Elliot.
Time in your case. I'd hoped you'd see things
differently. Don't you understand?
always been about you.
And we'll harm you.
Might be Elliot though. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think who it is.
It's time to come home.
Poppy.
It's time to come home.
This raises the question, why is Poppy so important to the prototype, and what exactly is their connection? Desperate to avoid becoming a prisoner locked up inside her case once more, Poppy flees the scene, leaving Kissy and our protagonist to the prototype's mercy. The
That shit's
prototype has
crazy,
taken
man.
the detonators planted in the red smoke room and placed them all around the vent system, attempting
Oh, sorry about that. Important phone call. All right, here we go.
to blow Kissy and our hero to bits. Kissy bravely throws herself at the protagonist and shields them from the blast.
Kissy was the goat.
However, as she does so, the floor gives way and we fall into the depths below, tearing off Kissy's arm in the process. Picking
No.
themselves up from their fall, our protagonist ventures through the cave system.
I think
they
Kissy
now
might be
find themselves
dead,
stranded
honestly.
in. They
Because
soon
the prototype
locate an
knew where
ominous
Kissy
chamber
was.
where the poppy flowers used in human experimentation are grown. At the far side of this flower
Actually, bro, there's an arm of Kissy down there. What if the prototype takes that? Because you know it'd be taking body parts and stuff.
chamber is a door and inside a VHS tape. However, no sooner than we insert this tape, the door seals shut and we find ourselves trapped.
Even though I've seen this, I
We
want to
then
listen
hear
to
the
it
voice
again.
Of Head of Innovation, Leith Pierre, who explains this
Never
is the
mind.
most secure area of the facility.
I thought he was
and
gonna
that we
play
are
it.
Trespassing. The punishment is death.
You're gonna be shot. Like, that was crazy. Bro just told you straightforward.
If someone finds you down here, you will be shot. And before you get any ideas, don't think you can just sneak away either.
After the tape concludes, a familiar figure appears in the flower chamber outside. The return of Huggy Wuggy.
Oh, damn. I didn't even know he looked like that. The door was blocking it. Bro took a hard fall. Oh, my God. Nah, but what I was about to say was, it's kind of crazy that Leif Pierre's talking about you will be shot. So the guards obviously had some sort of weapons down there. I'm trying to figure out how they lose to all these fleshy creatures that can apparently bleed. Like, you see, like, Huggy's got brains and flesh and shit. I think that's a heart. Like, he's got stuff. So I'm trying to understand why the guards never knew, like, where the core points were for the creatures and where you should probably shoot if attacked.
Somehow, Huggy survived the fall at the end of Chapter 1, and
My
now
God.
lives on in a hideously deformed state. He charges towards the door and begins pounding on it like a wild animal.
Someone definitely
What will
patched him
our
up.
fate be now? Well, we'll have to wait and see, as this is where the story of Poppy Playtime
Oh.
Chapter 4 draws to a close.
Is his arm fucking on a little tiny thread? Nah. He's definitely gonna whip that like Kratos' I almost said whips of chaos. Blades of chaos.
And with that, we have come to the end of this story.
Nah, that shit, that's crazy. I'm glad Super Horror Bro like explained a lot of stuff, because there were a couple of things in that chapter that I definitely missed out on, some notes and like something about what the notes were talking about. But yeah, I'm surprised Super Horror Bro didn't know about the whole thing that was like on top of the room in the final area where the doctor corners you and tries to make you kill the nightmare critter. Like I would have thought Super Horror Bro of all people knew, like, yeah, there's another way out. But yeah, I'm assuming this is probably made when the chapter dropped. No, that was made yesterday. Okay, all right. Yeah, if you want to see more Poppy Playtime theories and stuff, hit that like button, comment down below, subscribe for more to become a Kister today. As y'all have been seeing these last couple of days, I've been trying to do more Poppy content because like I want to see if y'all are like more interested in the Poppy content. It's kind of refreshing to see like what people are thinking about like other indie games like Bendy and Poppy and not just Five Nights at Freddy's. So yeah. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.